All right, welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to look at a subscriber replay that was sent in to me. So Rocket Ship is the person who sent in the game, and he's facing a relatively strong opponent at 582. Um, Not the best corpse, but not the worst either. Helion is perfectly serviceable, and you love having insects and a couple plant tags in your hand. I think with this hand, I would go insects, standard technology, just because it's very useful if you find yourself having to standard a lot. Lichen, greenhouses, and cupola. Um, you could make the argument for Fuel Factory, but I think standard power for Fuel Factory is a little too weak, and I'd rather just be able to standard cupola later when we're ready to have a city down. But it doesn't need to be an early play like Fuel Factory does. Um, don't really think I need to explain too much about the other options, why I'm not considering them. UNMI is just weaker than Helion, and there's nothing here that really works with it. Standard technology does not synergize with UNMI very well. You don't want to be spending SP Asteroid UNMI action every generation. It's too inefficient. And these other cards are just not that good on average in a two-player game. And yeah, he does what I would do, so good job there. We're first player, and he just passes, which I agree with. There's nothing to do with this hand right now. Our opponent, SP Oceans for 18. That is a play, certainly. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but sometimes it works out with the cards you get. Titanium Mine, okay, that's reasonable. Oh, what the heck? It didn't go to the second column. That explains why it looks so weird. Okay, so reasonable start. So our opponent has Titanium Prod. If we had Titanium Prod, AMC would be kind of nice here, but they don't. We don't have Titanium Prod, so I think Research is so scary to pass that I would not want to pass this card. I would keep it, and then I would just plan on never getting Titanium this game, because they're for sure going to keep this and use it on us. Which he does. And ooh, this is a spicy pack. Advanced Eco is one of the best scoring cards in the game, but I think you have to take GHG Factories here. GHG Factories does a lot for Helion. We have Standard Tech, which makes the power a little more efficient, and Advanced Ecosystems, while a great card, is just too far away to really pursue right now. Which he does. I like it. Ice Cap Melting is very good for Helion. At the same time, though, we just pass in Advanced Ecosystems, might not want to pass them in Animal as well. I think you can go either way on this one. I lean towards Predators, but Ice Cap is reasonable as well. And from this hand, I think Predators is too slow, not really in our game plan. I would just take Research and GHG Factories here, which he does. So I like all the picks so far. Our opponent just passes. This is the perfect time to go ahead and Standard Tech, Power, and GHG Factories. As I've stated before, these cards are basically priced like, such that if you standard the Power, you're costing yourself 4 extra, but then you're getting 4 production, so waiting for efficient power versus just standarding the power, same thing. So yeah, Standard Tech into Power into GHG makes a lot of sense. And that's pretty much all we can do right now. Okay. Here's my first disagreement. Yes, there is moss, which goes with insects, which is nice, but virus is very strong. And when we have as much plants, like plant in our hand as we do, I don't want to give him virus. So I would take virus here, passing moss. And now this is interesting as well. Plantation is probably the better card because of insects, but Archie is pretty good too, and it is a microbe tag for the advanced ecosystems that we passed him. But I think I would say because of the insect synergy, you go Plantation here. And he gives us virus back. That means he took Beam from a Thorium Asteroid, or BFAT as I call it, and BFAT means he's pursuing a Jovian strategy, essentially. That or he's scared that we're about to, but, I mean, Look at us. We have no titanium prod, no MC prod, no TR yet. There's no way we can afford a Jovian strategy right now. So this is very suspicious from our opponent. I don't think it's a really great play, but depending on his hand, it could be responsible. But in any case, I think you definitely take the virus now. And I would buy 3. Honestly, I debate 4 because nuke power is power, but with standard tech in play, we can get the power when we need it for just 1 mega credit more than the nominal cost. So since we don't need 3 power right now, I would just stick with the standard tech power and just plan on getting Cupola City online with that. So I would skip the nuke power. I would definitely keep Moss Plantation and Virus though. These 2 because the plant tag for insects. This just because it's good to hurt your opponent. He skips Virus. I think that's a mistake, but oh well. So raise heat. I like it. There's not much else to do. So he plays Io. So Io does in fact say he's going a Jove strategy, and that explains why he took the BFAT, but the BFAT doesn't really work that well into Helion. It does let you fund Thermalist, I guess, if you want, but Helion is going to get as much heat as they can, and then be able to use the heat for money, and you can't, so that is a little rough there. Bribe Committee, perfectly reasonable in Gen 3. Okay, well this sucks a little. Our opponent's going a Jovian strategy, so I don't love passing them Vesta. However, we can't pass them Earthcat, so I mean you gotta take the Earthcat. Here I would take Heather, just because of the insects and the fact that we have some heat production. I think Heather is better than these other cards in this situation. He takes Fueled, which is fine. I just think it's weaker than Heather for our game plan here. I mean, this is 4, standard power is 8, so I mean, we're not dying to get Cupola down right now. I would take Hired Raiders in this position. Yep. And Microbes. I think Microbes is too weak in this situation. Gen 4. We don't really need the power that much. I'm kind of on the fence. It's 13 mega credits for a steel prod. If this goes Gen 12, that's going to be, 16. So if we have steel targets, it's not the worst. It's just not great either. You could buy 3. I would not buy fuel generators. Personally, I would probably skip industrial microbes as well. I want to keep our money flexible in this situation, and this just doesn't really do enough with what we're looking to do, is my opinion. So just Earthcat and Hired Raiders for me. Okay, he takes the microbes. I think it could pay off. I just don't think it's necessarily the most cash efficient, and I think there will be some opportunity costs, but we'll see. So yeah, our opponent plays the Vesta, plays Archie. Yeah, so we'll have to watch out for the advanced ecosystems, it's looking like. We do Hired Raiders then, which is nice. We can raise heat, but there's nothing else we can really do. Alright, I think here you can't give your opponent Inventor's Guild. We want some card draw as well, since we have Earthcat. It does kind of go against our plan, but I think with the discounts, it is still the correct pick here, which he does. You could take Birds, you could take Space Station. Either one of these is fine. We did just pass Satellites, though, and our opponent has 4 Titanium prods, so I lean Space Station. Nice. They do take the Satellites, so we get the Asteroid back. I would take Asteroid here. I don't think we're planning on playing that many space cards, so I would skip Space Station. I would just do Guild and Asteroid here. Which he does. So far, I've liked all the picks. So we raise heat, get the heat prod, gets us the 8 heat. Really happy that that's the case. We get our card draw down, which I like as well. So he does play the BFAT. Yeah, so definitely going heavy Jovians. And good old Credicore getting him the rebate. And then he plays Carbonate too. So super interesting how he's basically fighting us on the heat track here. Immigration Shuttles ain't it. So we're going to skip that. And you might as well play the card Lycan because we're liking it. Please don't unsubscribe. He passes, and here's where we play the microbes since we bought it. We got it down in Gen 5, so now it's gonna pay off like 14. Yeah, it's okay, it's just not great. And he goes ahead and plays the Cupola City. I'm not really a fan of this. There's a lot of stuff early on in the game that can put the hate on the cities. We don't have any of the steel back yet from our industrial microbes, and we don't have another steel target in hand. It does play around getting energy tapped, so it's a little reasonable from that regard, but I don't know. I personally, I think would have waited on the Cupola City here. Well, NRA, happy to see that one, so we take that. And kelp farming, yeah, happy to see that one, we take that. Well, speak of the devil, I guess he was right, or rather I was right for not wanting microbes in the first place. But yeah, we don't want to get energy. We would not have been liking getting energy taps, so I guess it's a good thing that we used our power there. I would take energy tapping since our opponent has 2 energy. But then he thinks better of it and takes the Soletta. I personally welcome our opponent to play Soletta. I don't think that's good for him. But I don't think energy tapping is of much consequence either, so up to you. But definitely keep the 2 cards here. Alright, looking alright. Our opponent opens with Noctis City, which is very weird. So in this position, I know I often talk about how you should always card draw first, but our opponent just played a very weird Noctis City and then skipped their action. To me, that implies they have some way of converting those plants. Either an ice asteroid, though I don't think they can quite afford that, or imported hydrogen, or local heat trapping. Something is probably coming. So I would just go ahead and use the asteroid here and blow up those plants. And then raise heat again and get the heat bump. Yes, if you find optimal aero braking or media group, you're sad, but I think you just gotta go for killing the plants here. But he draws and finds a great card, but I think this is a mistake. But it's not too late. We can still play the asteroid. There's probably not much that he has that could get him the heat bonus, like import of advanced GHG or import of GHG. I forget what the card's called, honestly. The one that gives you 3 heat. That one could punish us, but aside from that, nothing else. So I would still play the asteroid here and blow up those plants. But we skip to ensure that we get the heat bonus, which I think is a mistake. Yeah, there's the imported hydrogen, gets the conversion. Very unfortunate for us. We do the asteroid now, we still blow up 3 plants, but he got the TR from that, so already a little disappointing. But yeah, that's all we can do. I think you gotta take the nuke zone here. You're a little sad about passing a science tag, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. There's the card. So imported GHG. That's the name of the card. Import of advanced GHG is the one with just the 2 heat prod. Okay, well this is great. Investment loan is just generically better, and this is just a little late anyway. I would take the investment loan for sure. Gen 7 acquired company is not really worth playing. Breathing filters is the keep here. And I, again, think that these cards aren't really efficient and they're kind of too far away, so I would just keep Nuke Zone and Investment Loan here. Alright, Ganymede Colony, we're very glad to see that. That means he's not finding Ganymede Colony, so that's 1 Jove Molt out of the deck. And we are playing Nuke Zone. I like that. I would go down here for 2 cash and block off his access. Yep, I like that too. Good play. Okay, he plays Mining Area, so again, getting a little punished. If we had blown up those plants, he wouldn't have been able to get this TI prod. So just how little mistakes matter. And here's where we go back to where I would have taken that Heather that I talked about. If we have Heather, we can play Heather, we could play greenhouses, and we could just NRA, and we could get a conversion with that, right? So no, we'd be one short because don't have a third city. Um, yeah, 5. But even if we don't get the conversion, that's our steal. Heather's on, so that would be like 6. And then with the investment loan and the heat, I think we could play NRA. So we could get that online this gen if we had kept Heather over the industrial microbes. Of course, then we wouldn't have the steel, but then we wouldn't have played microbes. We're not going to wibble wobble on that too much. So I think our best play here is to probably still develop towards NRA, and one way we can do that is plantation for 2 plants, then we can greenhouses for a conversion, and then we're basically there, but I think we're too short on cash, right? That's 10, 19, convert there, 21. Investment loan. Actually, yeah, I think we can get it with plantation because we're at 10. Then we're at 12. 12 and 9. That's 21. 20. Then 20. Then 30. And then NRA. Yeah. So that's the line. Plantation, greenhouses, convert, investment loan, NRA. That should be the play this generation. Instead, we raise heat. So I do generally recommend, if you guys have watched my Helion videos, that you should use heat first and then use it as money later on. And I stand by that. I still think that is the right way to play. But when you have the chance to play a power card like NRA here, you should just play the NRA. You do not delay it. Do not use your heat. Instead, get it online stat and use the heat as necessary to do that. We do play investment loan. I'm a little curious as to why. Opponent plays satellites and Heather, mocking us. Okay, SP Ocean. That's an interesting line. So SP Ocean with a standard tech lets us do plantation convert and play, or convert here rather, and then we can play moss, and then that gets us our plant tags in order to play NRA next gen. Okay. I don't hate it. It's just delaying NRA one generation, therefore I think it's wrong for that reason. But it's an okay play. I would take Lagrange here. Black Polar Dust is too late to really matter. Definitely farming. Heat's going up pretty quick. You want to be able to get the points from farming. Okay, Mining Expedition I think is a mistake. Mining Expedition is like 13 mega credits for you, 15 for your opponent. Remember, your opponent's credit core. At any time, they can get a SP Greenery, which is 2 points, 3 with the city there, for 19. So why would they want to pay 15 when they could pay 4 more to get 2 more points? Right? It just doesn't really make sense. Yeah, you get a little bit of steel. Yeah, you hurt your opponent's plants a little bit. But it's just a weak card compared to farming. So I think this is a mistake. I guess Black Polar Dust. Magfield Gens just doesn't matter. You could take Magfield too. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, keep none of this garbage. It's not aligned with our game plan right now. You could argue Lagrange, but at this point it's Gen 8. I think it's too late. We have kelp farming bushes, insects, NRA. It's clear that we win if we can terraform quickly enough, so I would just go for that here. We buy Mining Expedition, which I think is a pretty major mistake. Again, so what's this doing? We just spent 13 on 1 oxygen pump. The steel doesn't really matter because we already have enough steel to pay for all of our steel targets. Instead, with our standard tech, we can pay 20 instead of 13, so 7 cash less to get 2 more points, which is pretty major in a rush game. So Mining Expedition, I think, is a bit of a mistake here. He plays Restricted Area, very annoying, taking our 6 cash back. Then play Search for Life. Okay, so interested in some science before it runs out. Um, okay, Nitro Moss is cute, but it's a little slow. I think I would still play it if we can afford it, but we need to make sure that we are playing NRA this gen. So NRA is 29. We have 40 cash. If we buy this, that's 9. Yes, we can afford uh, Moss and NRA, but that does mean that we are delaying Bushes, and Bushes is better. Can we wait on Moss and buy it and just play Bushes, though? That is 31, 37, yes. So I don't hate buying this and then just playing Bushes, NRA, and then playing this Gen 9. It's a little slow, Gen 9, but with insects, I think it's still good enough. Okay, keeps it. Okay, opponent plays artificial photosynthesis. For one plant. That's peculiar. That's saying A, I really need a science tag for NRA and for AI, and B, I have quantum / mass converter, because otherwise you should take the power here. Ah, yeah, there's the AI right on time. Fun. So definitely glad we're rushing now. NRA does come down, Bushes comes down. So far, I think we're in a decent position. We have Terraformer locked up, Gardener's looking locked up. So we're winning the milestone race there. We're looking pretty good on a Landlord. We do need to fund that relatively quickly. Opponent takes heat. They invested in it, so I think it does make sense, but they have to be careful they don't let us end the game too quickly, as they have kind of a slow strategy of Joves and AI Central here that needs time to pay off. You hate to have to give your opponent one of these cards. ICS is the pick for me because it's very likely they have another science tag based on that strange artificial photosynthesis play. Therefore, I don't want to give them this cheap card. Imported nitrogen is obviously also amazing, but we don't know that they have a 1-point animal. We don't know that they have microbes. So you should take the one that's guaranteed points versus speculative points here. Definitely don't want to give them advanced alloys with that much titanium. And a science tag at that. Cut the capital. Martian rails isn't very good. And definitely keep none of this garbage. Okay, so here we need to convert our plants into a greenery. I would probably do it here for 2 cash back. And then probably need to fund Landlord, and then plan on funding Gardener and maybe Terraformer here, just to get all of our stuff done. Okay, he does it for 2 plants. Not a huge fan of that because that's a big rebate that we're missing out on right there. And we don't really need it. The 2 plants right now, that is. Okay, I do like funding Landlord. Our opponent draws and converts as well. So now that they've converted, Credicore can now standard a greenery and claim, so we must claim Gardener this move. We draw. Rad Suits isn't quite what we're looking for. And he claims Gardener, good. Colonizer Camp, Quantum, okay. So Joves and Science still going pretty strong for our opponent here. Yeah, Terraformer's good. Raise the heat. Okay, Nitro Moss is fine. Oh, and there's the mass. So yeah, there's Quantum and mass. Lovely. You hate to see that when your opponent has space discounts and tons of power and card draw and a Jove threat and his Credicore. Unfortunate. Tech demo for 1 cash to draw 2 cards is pretty good. I understand passing because you don't want to give him the ocean bonus. However, I'm kind of thinking that our opponent really shouldn't be taking heat. So I kind of like taking the heat because then he'll take the 2 heat and then it becomes easier for us to end efficiently. But Okay, passing is also fine. So far, they have shown a willingness to raise heat, so eh. Wow, these are some cards. You definitely take the Research Outpost here. And then I expect the opponent to take Mangrove, and then we get back Optimal, which isn't very good, but is what it is. I don't think you can afford to give him Research Outpost, and we have 10 plant prods, so we want more cities anyway. Uh, Yikes, these are good cards too. I would take Flooding because it helps us end, and I don't want to lose 4 cash, but it is very sad to give him Space Elevator with all that titanium sitting around. Or local heat trapping too, for that matter. And he takes Optimal. That's pretty weird to me. Very glad to get Mangrove back. That's an incredible card. That should not have come back, to be quite honest. And we get local heat trapping too. Tempting, but with Helion, it's not that good. It's paying 8 cash for 4 plants, which is just kind of a fair value. It's not really good enough. So I would just keep the first 3 here. Yep. So I like it too. So far, a good drafting from our protagonist here. Opponent claims Planner. Makes a lot of sense. We draw a card. Business Contacts. Personally, I think we have all that we need in hand, so I would probably skip it. They take it. I really am down on this card personally, but it's fine. It's fine. Research Outpost down there, yeah, that's the common spot after these first 2 are taken, so I do like that. Restricted Area draws a card, Earth Office, okay. A little scary that he's finding discounts. I do like Flooding for 2 plants here. Get the rebate and then convert for 4 cash back. Yep, I like that. They play Media and then Optimal. Okay, that's really scary. You better convert that plant stat. I would convert for the 1 card down here personally. SP Ocean, I don't like. I think the rationale is they want to get cash back and work towards kelp farming, but your opponent just played Optimal and Media. We gotta convert, and we just grabbed more plants that could die from a space event here. So we're still at 4 plants, so I'm not a fan of that. I'd have just converted on a card and not done the SP Ocean. In fact, I'd have probably done card, SP Greenery, and then with the money back, I think we could afford insects and play insects this generation, or maybe greenhouses insects, depending on what we can afford. But oh well. Large Convoy from opponent, that is a fantastic card for them. I don't think they have animals, right? So yeah, they just get 5 plants, so that basically hands them the O2 bonus, which is a little unfortunate. Oh, they sabotage us instead. Interesting. And now we play the mining expedition. So I guess he can say, big brain, I kept this for this exact situation, but I still don't think this is very good, personally. But it's fine, since we had bought it to play it here. That gets us the oxygen bonus. But it does give up the ocean bonus, which is a little sad, but I'm okay with that because it means that we have the chance to finish the game quicker now. Playing kelp farming for heat, though, I'm a little less sure of that. We want to make sure we have the heat to end here. I'd rather just play insects instead in this situation. Like greenhouses, insects, and we're chilling. And we can use our heat to take 2 heat bumps. Instead, we use the heat and now we can't. So not a fan of that. Opponent takes the heat, gets the ocean down, so they are helping us end. That's nice. We do play the insects, but we're using more heat. And now we're in an awkward spot where we're at 13 heat next gen. So that means that we can't afford to take 2 heat bumps, which is not good. And also, we didn't get the greenhouses value. I don't think greenhouses is getting much better than 3 plants here. So I would just do that to get the insects value here, overpaying on the steel. So mistakes in several areas here. Opponent doing Callisto, so yep, Jovian threat continues. Viral Enhancers is a scary card to see. And they fund Thermalist, which normally not something that's super safe to do against Helion, but with 10 energy rolling in and optimal arrow breaking, Thermalist is pretty safe, so I do like this fund by the opponent. Though I think Scientist is safer for them, personally, but hey, I think Thermalist is perfectly reasonable as well. They convert to get 4 cash back, I like that from the opponent. Small animals is pretty painful, but we have 19, or now 18 plant prods, so not too noticeable in the grand scheme of things. Dev Center is gone. I'm glad they don't have that card. And on we go. So currently we have a 6-point lead. That's not as much as I would like to have. But with all of our plant prod here, we're about to get 3 greeneries. Things are looking okay. Definitely want to take the livestock since our opponent has viral enhancers. Don't want to give them that. And the other cards don't matter here, so just take the Molehole area for landlord possibilities. Hackers, because Extreme Cold Fungus isn't playable. And then take none. None of it works for us here. Just go ahead and get the greeneries down. I'm okay taking 4 cash here, but now I would definitely take cards with my next greeneries. Dome Crater, want. A little too late. Sad to see it. And our opponent plays Giant Ice Asteroid. So, I'm not 100% sure about this play. It's obviously strong to take the TR and get it all with titanium, and you have the space discounts in your credit core, but you're helping us end. You better be really confident that you're winning this game, because we're currently up by, like 7 points or so. So, it's okay, but I'm a little skeptical. And they draw. Should have done it in a different order. Draw first, then GIA. So take the heat now while you can before your opponent can take the 2 heat. If we had 2 heat ourselves from not having played the kelp farming last gen, then we would be able to take 2 heat here, which should be a 2-point swing, which would be very nice to have. Inventors Guild finds Antigrav, which is mocking us. We can't really afford to play that. They play Decomposers. They have the plant, animal, and microbe tag. That's a little scary because it means they probably have advanced ecosystems. So that's now a 4-point card for them. That also gives them 3 plants. Yeah, speak of the devil. There it is. So, but they can't quite convert because we're pretty close to ending here. In fact, I think we could end if we had not played the kelp farming, because we'd have the heat as is, and then we could SP Greenery, Mangrove, and just end the game right now. So that kelp farming kind of biting us pretty hard right now. We do like seeing Herbies. Immigrant City would be nice if we had the power, but we don't, so it's probably cheaper just to SP City instead. I would take Herbies and Immigrant City, though, just as a hedge, but neither of them very impactful here. And we play the Herbies. Herbies is a lot of points for us, but if we could end here, that would be more enticing. They're selling cards, though. They recognize there is a danger here. We Mangrove first thing. Not a huge fan of that, because I would want to keep that a secret, because otherwise it can be a little hard to get that last greenery. So I kind of lean towards like SP Greenery or something in this position. Our opponent's still selling cards. Want to see what we do. Now we have to pay 11 for an asteroid. That's so painful. We could have just not spent 3 of our heat last gen and saved ourselves 11 cash. Like, that's very, very, very painful. Selling another card. Okay, so we can still end, though, because greenhouses gets us the 3 plants for a conversion, and then SP Greenery, and we've got it. And I think we do have to end here. We're not up by a whole lot, but I don't think he can play 2 Jove Molts. So I think we have a chance if we can end here. Yeah, and we draw Phobos, which is okay, nothing great. And they play imported nitrogen, so that's a lot of points. That's, one for the TR, one for the decomposers. The small animals is 3, and then the plants get him a TR, so that's 4, and then the greenery and the plant, yeah, it's 6 points. That's very painful. Very sad that he got all the pieces here. So the game is ended, so now we just need to score as many points as possible here. We've got 26 cash. With 26 cash, if we were to play research, that would get us 2 cards. That means we're too short, so we can't actually afford to do research and Phobos Space Haven. We could play Phobos Space Haven. If we do that, that's 3 points. Alternatively, we can SP Greenery, which with herbivores is also 3 points. You can do it either way. SP Greenery is slightly cheaper, which could matter for MC Tiebreaker, but also if he were to put a city right here, then suddenly that greenery is not worth a point anymore. So in that case, I think it makes the most sense to do Phobos Space Haven. So I think you should play it. So here's a little optimization puzzle for you guys. Notice here how he's paying 21 cash and 1 heat. That's wrong. Why is that wrong? Because heat is not the MC tiebreaker. Money is the MC tiebreaker. Therefore, when you're a Helion and Thermalist is not in play, and local heat trapping is accounted for, which all those things are true here, you spend the heat first, then the money. I know it's very rarely something that comes up. It almost never matters, but it is optimization that is important. So make sure to do that. And we sell. So fair enough. Opponent plays TG, so they did have the Jovian Molt, but we're still up by 6 points, so it's not quite over yet. We've done all we can do. They play Windmills for another point. They're up by 1. Why are they up by 1? Maybe I hadn't updated yet. Landlord's not flipped, so okay. They sell some cards, 13 cash. Oh, perfect cash for trees, which gets them another conversion. So that gets them to 87 to 84. They're getting 1 greenery, so they're going to end at 89. We get 2 greeneries, which is 88, plus Irby's also 89. Alright, so again, we know that we have to play for MC Tiebreaker here. So correct placement is next to our city for 2 cash, and then down by this city. As much as I love the aesthetics of 6 surrounding, you got to go for the cash here. That's most important. Opponent plays it there, and it looks like we are 4 mega credits short. So let's go on through here. And we lose by 4 mega credits. So, if you guys remember what I talked about here, since we got 9 heat prod in, that means we were at 4 heat left over from the previous generation. And we didn't convert for 2 cash here, so that would be 2 cash here. So, even though it seemed like all the choices had been done and it didn't matter anymore, it turns out the very last moves blundered the game. If they had used the heat instead of the money and converted for 2 cash, they would win by 2 mega credits. Instead, they lose by 4 mega credits, which is absolutely brutal. Very sad to see it, but overall, well played. I thought the drafting decisions were done pretty well. I think there were some small errors that could have compounded into, some bigger issues, like if he hadn't got that mining area down when he did, maybe he can't afford the TG, so he can't play the trees to get the last points. So, when the game is this close, any small decision changes things up a lot. Overall, I still think he made the right draft decisions in the majority of the game. It was just at the very end that got punished for it. But anyway, that's the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks to Rocket Ship for sending it in and letting us look at his plays. And if you guys have any other close or interesting games that you want to send me, feel free. Always happy to take a look at them and see if they're interesting for the channel. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.